Hello everybody, can you hear me? Okay, welcome to Henry's Kitchen, where today I got a very special recipe for you. It's potatoes au gratin, and it's very difficult. I want to apologize again about the fact that on Twitch it always says grilled asparagus, and I don't know if there's a way to change that. All of us here at Henry's Kitchen, which is basically just myself, do try to troubleshoot things as they come up, but sometimes the world moves very fast when it comes to technology and stuff, and I can only do things at a certain pace. But I know there's a solution. I might try to call the people at Twitch customer service to see if they could get me to put potatoes au gratin or whatever the new recipe is, because grilled asparagus, I'm afraid that people are going to be like, well, I already saw the grilled asparagus, and not tune in. So I'm working on that. I'm also working on some of the other things, emotes. We want to definitely get into emotes and other things, but like Beethoven once said, it just ain't easy, and that's kind of what I'm up against right now. But I will say that cooking is my love, and I do appreciate everybody that's tuning in here. You can hear me okay? Yeah. I do see that I should get a mod, and I'm working on that as well. I looked up mod in Google, and there were so many entries. There was a TV show called The Mod Squad in the late 70s. So I do, but I eventually did realize it's short for moderator, and it's somebody to moderate the chat, and I do see the importance of that. So I appreciate you being patient with me. But right now, we're going to learn how to cook, and I'm going to cook something that's a little bit more challenging than grilled asparagus or peanut butter cookies, which I made last time, which, by the way, I still have, and I've been eating about 2 of them every day, and it's been going well. Let's see here. So potatoes au gratin. I'm sure the first question that comes to mind for you is, what the hell is that? And I'm just going to tell you that potatoes au gratin, with fall on the horizon, we begin to trade in our summer vegetables for warm, comforting potato dishes. And today, we will be making one of our favorite dishes, au gratin potatoes. Potatoes au gratin, also known as gratin dauphinoise, is a decadent French dish of sliced potatoes baked with cream and grated cheese, and dates back to 1788 in the southwestern region of Dauphine, France. Probably the first thing you're wondering is, well, wait a second, isn't potatoes au gratin the same thing as just scalloped potatoes? To that I say, au contraire, mon frère. These two popular side dishes share many similarities, but you may be surprised to learn that they're actually entirely different in origin, with just a couple of distinguishing features. The key factor to keep in mind when deciding between scalloped potatoes and au gratin potatoes is whether to include cheese in your equation. Let's talk a little bit about the word equation. We're not talking about doing math. We're talking about factor it into the equation. I unfortunately will be doing a little bit of math for this one, because the recipe that I'm using actually makes 8 servings, and that's just way too much for one person. So I'm going to go ahead and make 4 servings, have maybe 2 servings, and then store them. So with your help, I'm going to be doing a lot of division here. I've got, Alexa, what's half of 3 ounces? 1.5 ounces. So I'm going to be using Alexa to try to combat some of the math that's going on here. But anyway, I don't want to ramble too much. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so as you can see here, I've got an ordinary cutting board here, which is going to be containing our ingredients. The ingredients that we're going to be using are 3 ounces of butter, which I've got that's about exactly how much I have left. I've got 1 garlic clove, and I've got 4 tablespoons of cornstarch, which I'm going to get. Some salt, some ground pepper, 2 cups of low-fat milk, so of course we'll be using 1, some shredded white cheddar, 2 cups of thinly sliced Yukon Gold potatoes. So let's go ahead and just move everything outside of the area here, and let's start working on our potatoes. I'm going to start by slicing our potatoes into gratins, which is very like coin shaped, maybe just a little bit more than bite-sized. Remember, they're going to expand a little bit when you heat them, so you don't want to make them too big. You know, I think a lot of people, in order to have a good time, they need to have vices like cigarettes or alcohol or marijuana. Okay, so this one's just about done. And if you're watching and wondering what kind of knife I'm using, this is called a paring knife. It's not too sharp, but it's got just enough edge on it so that it's going to be able to make us able to do our potatoes. So the recipe calls for 5 cups of potatoes. I've got 1 cup here, so I'm not going to do 5. Alexa, what's half of 5 cups? 2.5 cups. Okay, so I'm already halfway there. By the way, I want to share something with you guys, and I'm not really one to get into conspiracy theories and stuff, but I have here a half a cup. You can see here it says a half a cup. I'm going to fill that half a cup up with water, and I'm going to put it into my full cup. Okay, so if this is a half a cup, I'm going to fill up another one, and what you would expect is that it's going to fill it up to the top. But look at that. It didn't fill it up to the top, and I used 2 1/2 cups. You know, and I think it's just a lesson in knowing that a lot of times with cooking, the instruments that you're going to be using aren't reliable, and you have to use your own gut instinct. So I'm going to just put this water on some plants so as not to waste it. Okay, so we want 1 more cup of potatoes. We're going to go ahead and get started here. And if you're doing this at home and you want to make 8, all you're going to have to do is just double whatever I'm doing here. And let's face it, if you have a little more cheese or a little more potato, both of those are good things. Okay, so that's probably about a cup. Or I should put a cup in quotation marks. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, I'm going to take one of these smaller ones, and I'm just about there. This is our half cup. Okay, so now we've got how much were we doing? Yeah, 2.5 cups of sliced potatoes. I'm going to put these all in this cup. The next, okay, we're going to put our potatoes aside because we won't be needing these for a little bit. And the next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to start working on our gratin, or I guess, I'm not sure what gratin means actually, but I think it might be the cheese mixture. So I'm going to need just a second of preparing for that. So I'm going to very temporarily show you a little bit of one of my more exclusive videos, which is lactose intolerant ambrosia salad. So just chill out and watch this video for a second while I get everything together. And I appreciate everybody's patience. This is a very difficult dish. And I'll also be looking at some of the comments as I'm doing this too. So hello everybody, and welcome to Henry's Kitchen, where today I'm going to be showing you how to make Henry's back-to-school lactose-intolerant ambrosia salad. In 2017, lactose-intolerant ambrosia salad was the most popular internet search term by people in Vermont. Oh, and I may have mentioned that I'm fostering some kittens right now so that I could get some more YouTube views. And they had to have surgery recently to keep them from reproducing, and most of them have to wear cones on their heads, except for this one wasn't having it. He just was like, get that thing off me. He was like, hey man, don't tread on me. Wake up, sheeple. So I put him in a tube sock. He has a little goatee, so I call him Guy Fier. Okay, so the ingredients that we're going to be using today are oranges, shredded coconut, chunked pineapple chunks, vegan-free marshmallows, seedless almonds, a heart full of coconut milk, spackled pecans, plain Greek yogurt, and some cherries. I couldn't find regular cherries, so I'm using cherry tomatoes, which are a variation. We're going to start by making our cream. Just going to blend up our almonds, our shredded coconut, our coconut milk, and our Greek yogurt. Close it up really tight, and you can pretty much put it on any setting. It's still going to blend it up. I mean, I guess a good analogy would be like if you're learning how to golf and you have a variety of clubs there, pretty much any one of them gets the job of horses coming out of the tar pits. Okay, so now we're going to start preparing our wet ingredients, starting with our orange. You just want to cut it up into 8 even slices. So there's a big fight happening online about whether ambrosia is actually a salad or a dessert. And there's like these old school grandmothers out there who say it's a dessert because it's sweet. But I asked them, I was like, is sweet potato a dessert? Or what about cranberry sauce? Plus it's got oranges in there and that's not dessert. Get out of here with this shit. We're going to dice our marshmallows. And these we want to dice into quarters. And lastly, we want to cut our pineapple chunks into tidbits. Okay, now it's time to start putting together our salad. We're going to start by pouring down our base with our coconut cream, or whatever, mixture. Add in our marshmallows, our cherry tomatoes, our pineapple tidbits, and the rest of our shredded coconut, our oranges. Now let's just stir it all up. So the name ambrosia comes from an ancient Greek word meaning food consumed by the gods to achieve immortality. But ironically, the ancient Greeks were lactose intolerant. Also, there's a difference between lactose intolerant, which means your body doesn't have the enzyme to digest milk, and milk allergy, which is an overactive immune response to the milk protein. But whichever you are, every road leads to diarrhea, which is very unfortunate. Okay, so the final step is we're going to put our ambrosia salad in the refrigerator for about 2 hours to chill before serving. You don't want to be serving your guests warm salad, asshole. Hello everybody, I'm back. The next thing that we're going to be doing is we've got our potatoes sliced up here, and the next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be mixing up our cheese sauce. So hopefully this, okay, I'm going to try to adjust this camera so that you can see a little better what's happening. Okay, so we're going to mix up all the ingredients and then we're going to put them on the boiler for a little bit. So first thing we want is 3 ounces of butter. This is about a half a stick, which is what I have left. Alexa, how much, wait, let's see, how do I phrase it? Alexa, how many ounces is 1 stick of butter?
1 stick of butter is 400 ounces.
4 ounces. I want half of 3 ounces, so that would be half a stick would be 2 ounces, so a little bit more, whatever. That's the butter. And if you have a little less butter, that's not going to kill you. 1 garlic clove minced. Now, a lot of people don't know the difference, but this is called a bulb of garlic, not a clove. I made that mistake where I thought that the clove was the whole thing, and I made one damn garlicky situation. So I'm just going to take 1 bulb, which would just be this thing, and we're going to peel it a little bit. And peeling garlic is a very difficult undertaking, and it takes years for a lot of chefs to eventually be able to master, but it's just one of those things you have to do. It's like, you know, going to school or eating your vegetables. It's just like one of those pain in the ass things that is part of life. Okay, I'm going to broaden this a little bit here so that you can see more what's happening. I have here a garlic presser, and this is a particularly good one. I got it at the Bed Bath & Beyond. And don't let the sleek design of this thing fool you. This is a bad-ass piece of equipment, and I had to save up for quite a bit to get it. But this is going to work harder for you in your kitchen than just about anything else that you've got. So let's go ahead and put our garlic in this thing. And then what you do is you close it, and then you squeeze it out the other end. Damn. Usually you want to take some kind of a tool to scrape it off. Son of a bitch. Sorry. I didn't mean to use foul language there, but this thing is really difficult. Okay. Whatever, that should be enough garlic for us there. As a matter of fact, it just occurred to me that the recipe calls for 1 garlic clove, and I had 1 garlic clove, but we actually want to put that in half. Alexa, what's half of 1 garlic clove?
Here's something I found on the web. Half of a clove of garlic is about 0.125 teaspoons of garlic powder.
0.125 teaspoons. So again, you can't trust the teaspoons anyway, so we're just kind of guesstimating. Okay, so we have here butter. Alexa's still talking. We have here butter and garlic, and it says 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. We're going to put in 2 tablespoons because that's what half of that is. I've got my handy tablespoon here. This is called fécula de maíz because it's more of a Spanish version of cornstarch, but I believe fécula de maíz translates directly to the starch of corn. 1 tablespoon there, and 1 more tablespoon. We're gonna also add, it says 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna be using 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt. Wink, wink, because we know that if we put 2 1/4 teaspoons in there, they would come out to be less than whatever they're advertising it as. Okay, but anyway, that's 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon fresh ground pepper. This part's going to be a little tricky. I've got a pepper grinder. It's probably going to be very difficult to grind it into this thing. So I think, honestly, I'm just going to guesstimate and figure that this is probably about 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Next up, we have 2 cups of low-fat milk. I don't have milk. Oh, okay. Let's see here. It says 2 cups of low-fat milk. I'm just going to do the 1 cup here. And this is, I don't have regular milk. I have oat milk. So that's healthier for you, but I'm hoping it tastes just as good. Next up, we have 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. So that means, of course, that we would be doing the 1. I have some cheese left over from when I made my, well, they wouldn't be peanut butter cookies, but one of the more recent dishes that I did. So I'm just going to grate this in. I'm going to assume this is roughly 1 cup. And again, we can't trust those damn things anyway, so a lot of what you're doing in the kitchen is improvisation and general learning how to do things on your own as opposed to listening to the authorities. Okay. If you're following along, I'm always interested to hear how it's going. Maybe I don't know if there's a way you can send pictures in the chat, but it'd be nice to see. If you're doing something wrong, I might be able to help you. But at this point, your gratin mixture should be looking a little bit like mine, which is basically, you know, it ain't too pretty yet, but it does smell very garlicky, which is nice. And it will smell even more so when we start to cook. So, next up, we've got, well, I think that's pretty much it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to whisk it up. Okay, so we had a question about cheese, and I assume it's somebody who's lactose intolerant. And I want to say that I'm no stranger to lactose intolerance. As I said, I think in my last video, I haven't had what they would refer to as a healthy BM maybe since Bill Clinton was president, which is it's not a correlation, but just to give a timestamp on it, it was sometime in the 90s. And I think that's just because I deal with consuming a lot of milk products, even though it probably is something that I should avoid. That being said, if you want to try to make this dish without lactose intolerance, or without lactose, yeah, there's plenty of cheeses on the market that are made from non-dairy sources, like, gosh, I'm not sure what you would make cheese out of that's not dairy, otherwise it wouldn't be called cheese, but maybe peanut cheese, or oh yeah, well, I mean, oat milk is what I used here, so maybe they have oat cheese as well. But if you do have, let's see here, just had a question about what my favorite breakfast is. Well, I would say that's the breakfast of champions. I mean, there's the traditional English breakfast, which is fantastic, which includes baked beans and fish, but I like the breakfast of champions, which is basically scrambled eggs, some kind of meat protein, hash browns, fruit, coffee, and a croissant. I don't know why they call it the breakfast of champions, because it really doesn't do a lot for you in terms of your athletic abilities. Somebody asked, what's with all the compact discs? I'm not sure what that means, actually. But, okay. Okay, so what I have here is our au gratin. I'm going to transfer this into a traditional bowl situation. And we're going to put this on the stove for about 2 or 3 minutes until it starts to boil. And then we're eventually going to, I don't know if you can see what's coming, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to combine this with our potatoes, and then we're going to put it in the oven, and it's going to be deliciousness. So give me 1 second here. While I'm doing that, I don't want there to be dead space, so maybe try to think of a song that you'd like to hear, and I can perform a song while we're waiting for this to boil. Meanwhile, we can check in also on the roast beef cam. That's my cat, Roast Beef, doing a lot of sleeping today. Okay, here we go. So I've got our gratin mixture here, which is the cheese and the oat milk and everything that you just saw, garlic. We're going to put it on the stove. Okay. Also, some people have asked about the fact that I have an earpiece. That's because I have a friend who's trying to help me by giving me some of the questions that you're asking, because I do want that to be a big part of this. I'm an instructor, and you can't instruct unless you also listen. Thoughts on leaving the stove on overnight to preheat? Yeah, absolutely. If you leave it on overnight, it's going to get, not only will it keep your place nice and warm, but that way the next morning when you want to put something on the stove, it's already going to be good and hot for you. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do some music here. Okay, we got some great suggestions here, but first I'm gonna do one of my own choice And then I'm going to look at your options. A couple of those I already did, the Help Me and Guacamole. I haven't done the Whore of Sausalito, so I'll do that. But right now I want to do a little song about the complication of breakups and human interpersonal interaction with members of loved ones or whatever. It's a breakup song, I guess. Do you hear that okay? Do you hear the guitar? Okay, I'm going to take that as a yes. Okay, here we go. This is a song called Uber. She says she wants to Uber home now. You're just not her type of guy. But she still wants to be your friend. And if she meets her Mr. Right, then maybe you could help them move their stuff when she moves in with him. But for now, she just wants to Uber home. She says it's not that you're not handsome, but you're just not her cup of tea. She's got better things to do than to hang around with you. She's got other ways she'd rather spend her time. So if you don't mind, she just wants an Uber home. That's a true story. Hold on a sec. I'm afraid I disrupted my cat. Roast beef. He was, oh yeah. I'm gonna have to feed him really quick because he's a little bit perturbed. So, meanwhile, let's, well, you know what, actually, yeah, just give me 1 second here. Come on, buddy. Okay. The au gratin should be ready. Let's see here. Very nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back into our bowl here. Remove some of this other stuff. It definitely smells delicious. I think that's mostly the garlic talking. Now we're going to simply add in our potatoes. And we just want to stir, stir, stir. And make sure that every single potato coin is completely submerged within the gratin mixture. And meantime, this is probably a good time to answer any questions you might have. Potatoes au gratin, you're going to see this at some of the finer restaurants. I don't know where everybody is on an international basis, but here in the United States, we have a place called Arby's Roast Beef Sandwiches. And it's actually a chain. There's several of them across the country. But you kind of have to dress up a little bit to go there. But they're the kind of place that would serve a French side dish like potatoes au gratin. You might also find this, but it's definitely not street food if that's what you're wondering. You could wrap it up into a flour tortilla and make it a burrito, and that might be kind of delicious, a cheese and potato burrito, but it's really more traditionally found in finer restaurants. Somebody wanted... we have a question about roast beef. Roast beef is currently 17 years old. He's a very old guy. And he's become a little bit grumpy, like when he wakes up from a long nap. That's why I'm hoping he'll go back to sleep soon so that he doesn't interrupt us. But he's a good guy, you know, and I'm going to miss him because we're not all on this planet forever. We get one little short dance that is but the flicker of an eyelash in the face of the universe. And that's a lot of what roast beef and I kind of talk about. Well, I mean, obviously I do the talking, but I think he kind of understands. Okay, so the next step here is we're going to be removing these we have a question about why I started Henry's Kitchen. I think that's a good question. I guess this would have been about 2011. I was terribly depressed. I had just hit my 40s. I was probably completely broke. I was going through a breakup. I was drinking probably more than I should have at the time, and I was just heartbroken and alone and scrolling through YouTube videos. And at one point, and I think I mentioned this during asparagus, I wanted to find a vegetable that I thought that I could start eating because I thought that would be doing something good for myself. And I went to a Thai restaurant and had their asparagus and thought it was delicious. So I came home and punched into YouTube, how do you make asparagus? And there were just all these people teaching you how to do it. And obviously I learned how to make grilled asparagus like a pro, but there was something bigger that happened. And that's that I saw people living their lives at their homes and teaching people and spreading the love of cooking. And I thought, I want to do that. I had never cooked anything before in my life, but I wanted to teach it as I learned it, which I think is a good idea. If anybody out there wants to learn guitar, for example, just put an advertisement out there telling people that you'll teach them how to play the guitar. And you'll get students, and then you learn with them, but you're getting paid, which is better. And not that cooking has ever really gotten me a lot of success in the financial department. I would probably say that if I added up all the money that I've made on YouTube from 2011 to 2021, it would probably be enough to pay for the meals that I made if I sold them at a nice restaurant, for example. Like if I sold the potatoes au gratin that I'm making now. What were we talking about? Sorry, I feel like I got a little bit off topic, but yeah, no, but years have gone by, and I think that cooking has changed my life. It's saved my life. I'm still depressed and heartbroken, but at least I've got a lot of food that I can enjoy in the meantime. Let's see what this says here. It says we're going to want to transfer our potatoes to a 2-quart baking dish, and we're going to coat it with cooking spray, and we're going to bake for a little while. So I'm going to go ahead and put the oven on. I should have done this first, and I don't know why I didn't. I guess I'm just a little bit distracted, but let's go ahead and grab a cooking sheet. I'm gonna lay it. This is obviously a little worn in terms of this cookie sheet, so I'm gonna go ahead and use some tin foil. And we're gonna lay down our au gratin using our paring knife. Somebody's asking my favorite, my biggest inspiration in terms of cooking. Well, I could go with the obvious ones and say Martha Stewart, Julia Child, Anthony Bourdain. But I would probably go for a more alternative source and say my grandmother. I mentioned that I didn't really have any cooking experience prior to my 40s, but I did a little bit of cooking with my grandmother. She unfortunately, and this is kind of personal, I'm not saying she was a bad person, but she was in and out of jail a lot through her life because she just couldn't seem to keep out of trouble. Yeah, my grandmother's no longer with us. It was very sad. She was 99 years old. And, okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and spread these out on our cookie sheet. You want to give enough room in between the potatoes for them to cook individually. Someone asked if my grandmother died in prison. No, she was on the streets. Very important question. Do we use the metric system or what we call here the English system, I guess? The metric system's much better. Everything is divisible by 10 to an easy degree. And if you try to start getting into using inches and feet and stuff when you're trying to do your cooking, not only is that going to be more complicated, but when you start doing the division, it's nearly impossible. Like, for example, Alexa, what is 1/5 of a foot of potatoes?
2 inches.
Okay, 2 inches. So maybe it's not as hard if you have modern equipment to help you. I'm going to wash my hands here for a second. And we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven. And we're going to leave it in there for about 20 minutes at a very high heat. It still has a little time. So we have somebody asking how many cubic feet in 4? Yeah, no, these are all very difficult questions. Yeah, 400 degrees. That's exactly what I have it on, which is great. I'm getting people saying it looks delicious. That's very nice, nice of you. I think this would probably be a good time, not to do a song just yet, but probably one of my favorite parts of these tutorials is just giving me a little chance to play the Henry's Kitchen game. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I hope that you guys are playing. As a matter of fact, I know some people are, because there's somebody named Shebaz who has a score on there that's ridiculous. Like, if there were a way to cheat, I would think that they did, but they have like 81 or something. I'm gonna tweet out the link to the game if you guys want to play along on another screen or whatever. But I'm also gonna, for people that aren't familiar, I'm gonna teach people how to do it. Let's see here, I'm gonna try to shape this thing a little bit better. My friend made this game. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna cook. So you push cook. If you're using a phone, you want to turn it sideways, and then you'll use your thumbs on each side of the screen to move the caricature in the middle. So I'm pushing cook, and what you want to do is you want to start gathering ingredients for your sandwich. Uh-oh. There's something went wrong there. I'm gonna try it again. Sometimes it takes a little while to load. Remember, this game is free, so it's not necessarily in tip-top shape in terms of a lot of things, but here we go. You're going to try to gather up your ingredients. I've got my peanut butter, the jelly, and you're trying to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And you're trying to avoid the rats. It starts out really easy. I'm going to see if I can get the sound on there. Uh-oh.
Delish.
There we go. Okay.
Great. Nice.
So I have two bad, so that means that there's going to be one more chance.
Sandwich made.
Before, I don't think this particular game is going to last very long.
Sandwich made. Woohoo!
So
Bread.
I've got bread,
Peanut butter.
Jelly.
Sandwich made. Woohoo! Sandwich made. Sandwich made. Great.
The highest score that I was able to get was 77.
Yeah.
Bumble has 78.
Great.
And I'd like to beat that score, but 81 from Shebaz. Oh, okay. So I'm getting that there's a problem. Hold on a second.
Awesome.
I'm gonna just let that part of it skip because there was a problem with the.
Holy guacamole, holy guacamole, I just got hit
I'm
by
not
a
even gonna
car.
bother with putting anything there. Okay, so yeah, you can see Shebaz has 89. That's crazy. Oh, Too Much Cherry.
Pushed me in
There's a
the
new
street,
player here.
left me
Shebaz is
in
killing
the
it.
cold. Whoa.
And Too Much Cherry. Wow, there's some people getting really high scores on there. Bumble's there at 78, and then mine is right under there
I just
at,
got busted for drugs.
I should be able to see it, but I don't. I'm 78. Okay, so I'm going to try to do it for real this time. We've got a little bit of time while our au gratin potatoes are cooking. This is going to be the best game of Henry's Kitchen that I've ever played. And mark my words, because now I'm feeling good about it. You can see everything, hopefully.
Awesome. Yeah.
Somebody asked what makes me laugh.
Sandwich made.
I'd probably say the overall feudal
Woohoo!
nature
Bread.
of existence as a concept. It's
Woohoo!
so
Nice.
daunting
Yeah.
as a mental
Sandwich
exercise
made.
to try to
Peanut
grasp
butter.
it
Sandwich made.
that you
Delish.
find yourself
Woohoo! Bread.
only being able
Great.
to laugh at the absurdity of it all.
Sandwich made.
So, but I think it is important for to have laughter. You have to be able to laugh at something.
Made. Peanut butter.
It's
Nice.
good for the body.
Nice.
just
Awesome.
like eating is
Great.
good for the body. And
Awesome.
a lot of times
Yeah,
I'll laugh while I'm
great.
cooking. I hope it's not
Awesome.
too annoying hearing
Yeah, sandwich made. Bread.
the sound effects. You can
Yeah.
see when I get certain things like bread or
Sandwich
jelly.
made. Yeah. Nice. Sandwich
Okay,
made. Nice.
so now let's see
Great.
what's happening here. I have way too much
Sandwich
bread,
made.
but not enough jelly, so I'm going to start prioritizing jelly when I see it.
Nice.
Because they're going to start
made.
coming down faster.
Yeah. Nice.
I'll grab bread if it is convenient. And
Bread.
by the way, I'm also trying to figure out how to get it so that I
Sandwich
can,
made.
you have the little window of me
Awesome.
in the
Sandwich
corner. That's
made.
another thing that
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Delish. Great.
Too much bread, no
Nice.
jelly. I think that's
Sandwich
a
made.
lyric in Alanis Morissette's song about "Isn't It Ironic?"
Sandwich made. Great.
Yeah, we've got twice as much bread
made.
and not enough jelly, so I'm gonna really go on a jelly
Yeah.
grabbing rampage.
Sandwich made. Sandwich made. Yeah. Awesome. Sandwich made. Awesome.
It's got a little.
Sandwich made.
Okay, so and also if I get to 30, then I get a free life, and so
Great.
far I've got no bads.
Sandwich made. Yeah.
If there were an ethical way to do it, would I eat human? Well, we've all heard stories of people who are trapped
Sandwich
in
made.
survivalist situations where
Awesome.
the only way that they can survive is to eat maybe the fallen passengers of a plane crash. I mean, that happened, and they made a movie about it. Uh-oh. Sorry, I got a little distracted. Okay, I got my free life, so that's good. Right about the time that I lost one. Absolutely, you know, I have some really, really close friends, and if we were in a plane crash and they died, I think that they would want me to eat them if they knew that it was the only way that they were going to survive. It's not something that people want to talk about, but it is a good idea to have all this stuff in writing before the incident happens, because you don't want to regret it. So I have most of my friends sign a thing when we go camping or something that says that I don't know what that is. That I have the right to eat them.
Sandwich made. Great. Sandwich made. Great. Awesome.
Okay.
Sandwich
So
made.
this is going
Awesome.
pretty well. I set out to make this an important game. So you can see they start coming down really hard.
Great.
I finally closed the gap with jelly, so now what I need is peanut butter. I'm really jamming.
Sandwich made.
Let's see here.
Awesome.
Okay.
Bread. That's sandwich made. That's
Oh, okay. That's it.
Holy
I'm gonna put
guacamole.
HP.
Holy guacamole. I just got hit.
I didn't get nearly as good as I wanted to.
And you're the one who
gonna
swept
turn
me
off
off
that.
my...
We could do that song live. Well, let me see some of your other comments. I see some comments about Forsen, and I've heard a lot about Forsen, and I don't think I've met Forsen in person, but would like to. A lot of shout outs to Nim. Nim is the one who got me started on all of this stuff, and I'm looking forward to one day doing another collaboration. And also Bumblevision and some of my old close friends like Bill Larkin, who I follow on Twitch, who does improvised songs. It's probably one of my favorite channels to watch. Let's see here. Well, why don't I do another song, because our potatoes au gratin aren't quite ready yet. Let's see. All right, I got a request for the Whore of Sausalito. I'm going to try to dust it off. It's been a little while. This is an old sailor song about the sailors on the docks of a place called Sausalito, California, which I've never been to, but I assume they've got docks because it's right on the beach there. She is the whore of Sausalito. She knows just how to ease your mind. And if you ask her her name, she'll just smile and bat her eyes. For the whore of Sausalito never lies. She says she hails from Pasadena, but we all know that that's a lie. And if you listen very close, you'll hear her crying in the night. For the whore of Sausalito lives in me. Sorry, I got a little confused on the lyrics on the end of that part, so I'm gonna have to work on that one a little bit before I can get more of it. So let me skip to another one then. Does anybody have any other songs that they like? Maybe a song that you've heard on the radio. What are my opinions on the Federal Signal Thunderbolt air raid siren? I think it's good. It's not as good as some of the previous technology they were using, but I think it's going to be a good thing. All right, we're going to go ahead and do one more song, then we're going to grab our dish and taste it, and hopefully it's going to come out good. Why don't I go just do a couple of verses of the old standby here. Help me make it through the night, 'cause I am tired and alone. This is the song that got me started in the kitchen. Help me make it through the night, 'cause there's nothing out there for me anymore. I'm always coming in last place and getting sand kicked in my face, and everyone pushes ahead of me and no one stops to care. I curse the gods each day I live, and everything is terrible, and I guess that's just the way it's meant to be. Help me make it through the night, 'cause I don't like myself. Okay, so that song is called Help Me Make It Through the Night by Jose Suicidio. And now it's time for the best part of the whole episode here. We're going to pull our grilled asparagus out of the oven, potatoes au gratin. And we're going to put it on a plate. And you know what? I might even put a peanut butter cookie on the side of it. I still have some of these from last time. They're really great if you dip them into coffee. But let's see what happens here. Someone asked if I had to cook for a clown. Wow, there's a lot of dark imagery going on in some of these comments. Cooking for a clown, eating people on camping trips, but that's okay. I've always liked to say that there's no dumb questions, there's only creepy questions. And if I were to cook for a clown, I would probably make something that would be funny in a way. And I'd probably say the funniest food is probably going to be something that that involves bananas. Maybe a banana split. Because if you can make a clown laugh, then you can make anybody laugh. But I'm not trying to make anybody laugh. I'm trying to change the world with my cooking. And that's what I'm going to do right now with this dish, which is called potatoes au gratin. I just have to figure out how I can play it to the camera here for you. I know. Okay, let's put it on the table. And ow! You gotta remember to wear an oven mitt when you're doing this. You can see I've got my peanut butter cookie and my potatoes au gratin. And this is going to be a nice, delicious lunch. And it's filled with potassium. Ow, this is going to be very warm for you here. But it's filled with potassium, also a lot of vitamins and fibers that come along with any type of vegetable-based food. I will warn you that it has a lot of saturated fat because of the cheese, and but just a little less because we used oat milk. And this is probably one of the better dishes that I've made. It's here, let's see here. Get a good look at that. Okay, so I'm getting some compliments on the ratio from potatoes to cookies. We have a question about whether I eat the food that I make. Yeah, I'm cooking for myself for my dinner, or in this case, lunch. I know a lot of the people out there are in different time zones, so this might be more of a late night snack for you, which is okay. I'm going to grab a fork. This is going to be very hot. You want to be careful with tin foil, and I'll tell you why. If you don't know what you're doing, you can actually have whatever food that you're eating get stuck to the tin foil. This is a big problem, and it's a problem that some of the most experienced chefs in the world deal with. Gordon Ramsay, some of the other ones that I mentioned earlier, Julia Child, and you want to be very careful with that, because if the food that you're eating has a little bit of tin foil in it, or aluminum foil, I guess they call it now because it's more politically correct or whatever, but you can swallow the aluminum and end up getting a certain type of poisoning that can leave you completely in a catatonic state. You're still alive, but you're not able to function. And so you want to be careful. As a matter of fact, now, did you guys see when I was scraping the potatoes off? Hopefully there wasn't any tin foil. You can also tell if there's any holes in your tin foil. I guess I'm just a little bit worried because I have a big hole there, but whatever. You know, you could spend your whole life worrying about stuff like, you know, am I going to get tinfoil poisoning from cooking for myself at home? But again, we only have a short little time on this planet, and you don't want to drag it out by worrying about problems like that. So let's go ahead and Well, I gotta say, this is probably better than what you would get at a fancy French restaurant. It's it's got a little bit of maybe well, it's got a lot of garlic, that's for sure. So whatever we did there worked out perfectly. And it's got a little bit of a bitterness, and I think that might be because the potatoes that I was using had sort of seen some time on this earth, and so I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or not. But you know what? I'm gonna eat it because eating your own food is just as important as making it. The cookies are going to take a little while to get through because the problem that I'm having with them is that they're very hard. And so you can really only eat so much of it in one sitting. That's why if you dunk it in coffee, it gets softer. But to conclude, everyone, don't let people tell you that you're not good at cooking just because they don't think the stuff that you make tastes very good. A lot of it is a learning process, and a lot of it is subjective, you know. I might give this dish to a friend of mine who's really into cooking, and they might think it tastes like shit. I can't say that what their opinion of it is wrong. I just know that I'm probably a better chef than they are, and it's not even a matter of opinion after you've been doing it for as many years as I have. And that's not being cocky, it's just being realistic. But I do, as always, want to thank everyone for joining me here today. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed some of the music. And again, I'm trying to work out some of the kinks, but I do really enjoy the company, actually, because I'm overall a pretty lonely person, and it's just nice to have some interaction with human beings, even though it's just on the computer. So, thanks again, everybody, and I really appreciate it, and I'll be back on Sunday with a new recipe. Sunday at noon is when I usually do it. And I might adjust the schedule because I want to make sure that there's some people that might only be able to see it at night could check it out. So I'll try to have something really, really exciting ready, and some new songs. And as always, I very much appreciate it.